G'day, my name is joelcedras and I'm going to be providing you with some pointers for your IT pad. I've achieved 100% for my matric IT pad and I've tutored over 20 people in IT, so hopefully you'll be able to learn something from me today. The topic for the 2024 DBE IT pad is the property market. Now, it is very important that you realize that your project just needs to be somewhat related to the property market. Okay, so whether you are dealing with a blog or a point of sale software or um, a banking system, as long as it is related to the property market, you will be great. You will be okay. So the DBE does provide some really good examples here, right? Such as banking services. So you could provide, you can make software tailored towards real estate agents who deal with big money and they're able to deposit money and withdraw, etc. You can have a magazine, so you can create like a blog for real estate agents or the property market, and people can sign up and read and create content on your blog. You can have a point of sale system, right? So software that real estate agents use to sell to their customers and to add new listings, something like Property 24, right? You can make a simplified version of this where people are able to, buy houses and etc. So there are so many different options for your IT pad. You aren't limited to what the DB gives. Again, they also state you are not limited to these ideas, but it needs to be within the theme of properties. Okay, so let's get into it. You've been doing your IT pad for 2 years now, so you do have an idea of what to do, and you should be able to code, right? So I'm going to show you today I'm going to show you my matric IT pad, and I'm going to provide you with some resources and some ideas on what you can do. My IT pad is also available on the internet, so you can go to github.com/skill beats all slash itpat 2023. Okay, and then here you can find my itpad with some details and how you can install it. So you'll just go here, you'll click on code, and you can download a zip file here, which will allow you to look at my code. All my code is here. Yeah, so I just want to point out something very important that I recommend you use, and that is the rubric. So this is how you know how many marks you can actually get, right? So the rubric describes exactly what you need. So for example, class descriptions and class diagrams. It tells you need attributes, methods. You need to specify the method type. If you're looking at input validation, it tells you they want 4 different data types validated, 4 inputs validated, right? So if you are following the rubric as you are making your ITPAD, as you're doing your phase one and your phase two, then you are able to score the maximum amount of marks possible, right? So that's that. I'm going to show you my phase one. Okay. So this is my ITPAD, and the idea was we had to create something related to the environment. So I created a point of sale system that is designed, it's targeted towards stores that deal with selling environmental things. So whether it's energy friendly lights or LEDs or plants, I don't know. Uh, anything remotely related to that. So what I did was I defined the task. So you have to do it in 200 words. You identify a problem in the market. So for example, on the property market, you can say something like, there aren't any good solutions, there isn't any good software out there that real estate agents can use to manage their sales. So you decided to create that software, and then you go into depth, user requirements, right? So you need to be able to describe who the users are that are using your program. Okay. You can do this in a table format, or you can use there's a diagram for it. So if I just look at this document by Miss Rachel Pillay, um, here's a simple diagram that you can use as an example. And you can create this using draw.io. So I'm going to show you draw.io. So you open it and you have these blocks here on the side, okay? But they also have templates. So if I go to File and I go to New, I can look at different templates. So for example, class diagram or entity relationship, right? So let's do a class diagram, for example. It'll open in a new tab, and then you can use this as your class diagram in your phase one. So it simplifies a lot of the work. It makes it a lot easier than making it in Word. It's a bit tedious in Word. So for example, my class diagram over here, if I can find it over here, this was created using draw.io. My database diagram, same thing. So I recommend you use it. It simplifies it a lot. Okay. Um, right. Database design. This is a very important part of your IT pad. Okay. You need to design a database that will work with your program, and you need multiple tables, and they need to be linked to each other. Right. So the document does describe exactly what you need to do, exactly what they want. So if we look at database design, here we go. You need at least two relational database tables, sorry, and you need to be using suitable fields, data types, and sizes. Okay, so for example, if we look at my database, if I can just get to it, over here, I want to show you the relationships. So this is my database. You can see every table is related to every other table in some way. Okay, this is what is expected of you, not these many tables per se, but you do need to have relationships in your database. Okay. Then we can look at, yes, your database diagram, your classes and objects. So your data dictionary, this was done through draw.io. I also included a description of each method, okay, and what it's returning, whether it's public or private, etc. So that is available there. Then text files and arrays. Okay, a very easy way to get the marks for arrays and text files is for arrays, you can create a audit log. Okay. And what this is you are basically, so when someone logs into your program, you store that somewhere. When someone buys something from someone, you're storing that. So you can use a array to to store this, and then you can sort through the array. You can filter by time. You can filter by person, right? For text files, you can do something like you can store the credentials in there, right? So username, password to log in, or something that I really like is complaints or suggestions. So you can have a little button on your form somewhere, and you can use this. Uh, the users can use this button to provide any complaints or anything, and this can then be stored into a text file, which the user or which the admin can then go through and read. Yeah, you can also combine arrays and text files. Okay, so you can use a text file as your audit log. Okay, and then you can read that text file into an array, and then with the array you can sort it again, and you can filter it. You can filter by the person, you can filter by the time something was done, etc. So that is a very easy way to get some nice marks for arrays and text files. For your IT pad, you should be getting at least 60%. 60% for your IT pad is extremely easy. And I do want to show you the significance of getting 60%. So your IT pad counts 25% of your final mark. So if you have 60%, if you have 60% out of 100, okay, and it counts 25%, then you already have 15% for your final mark for IT. That is a lot, right? So then you only need 15% from your SBA marks and your final two papers in order to actually pass IT. So your path is extremely important, and it's a very easy way to get the marks you need. Then software diagram. Again, software diagram was done using UML, and basically what I'm doing here is I'm showing how the different forms are connected to each other. So I have quite a few forms here, but they're all somewhat related to each other. And then I also included flow diagrams for authentication and the process in which an order is created. Okay. So again, this is done using draw.io, and it is important that you have a flow diagram, right? It shows, what you're doing is you're showing the algorithm for a certain thing. So here, for example, in authentication, if I can zoom in, the user opens the form, you're showing the form, then they enter their credentials, and you're checking is the password and username correct, or if they're registered, you know. So you're just showing your thinking behind a certain process. And then finally, your declaration. I do also want to show you my GUI design here. So I designed this table, right? So I have the design, and then I put a picture here. Then I have the purpose or use of this form, the components that I'm using on the form, what data validation is being performed on the form, and then any additional information. So this gets you your marks for this section. So data input, data processing, data output, GUI design. So I've kind of combined a lot of the sections on the rubric into one table. Okay. And then I'm just repeating this table for the different forms or the different screens of my pet. And that's how you get your marks for this. Okay. Then I've also done an IPO table. So I just used a template for this that my teacher provided me with, and I'm showing the different forms here on the side. Okay. And then the different components on the forms, the types, the input, and the validation that I'm doing on those different inputs, processing, and then finally the output. There's a very simple template that you can use, and you'll get your marks if you're using this and you're following the rubric. Okay, so that then concludes phase one. I'm going to now show you my phase two, and hopefully there are some things you can learn there. So again, my phase two is available at github.com/skillbitsource/itpat 2023. You'll also find my other itpats, so you'll find my 2022 one and my 2021. They're all available on here, but for now we're focusing on the 2023 one because this was the matric itpat. So again, you go to code and you download this up. Okay, so I'm gonna open that now over here, and it's gonna load. Close this. All right, here we go. So this was my ITPAT for matric. It was a point of sale software, and I'm just going to take you straight into it and run it. So it's compiling over here. Okay. So immediately, something that I think is really cool is I've included a check over here, right, to see if it is the user's first time using the software. And if it is, it's going to create the admin account. Okay. The code for this was really simple actually. So when the form is being run, it's checking in the database if there exists an admin. And if there doesn't exist an admin, that must mean that it's the first time that the program is being run. So then it's going to guide the user on creating an admin account. Okay, so now this is my registration form. So I'm just going to enter some details here. Okay. Oh. Okay. This password bar is also very easy to implement. I have the code here for it. Underneath register, you please feel free to use the code. Okay. Your ITPad does actually allow you to use other people's code. But it's important that you understand the restrictions of this. So I'm going to just find it over here. Yes, under malpractice. Okay. You are allowed to include work copied from books, the internet, or other sources, but you must do it with acknowledgement and attribution. Okay, so you aren't allowed to do it without acknowledging that this isn't your code. Okay, and then finally, you can't use more than 10% of someone else's code. Okay, so that is very important that you understand. Okay, but as long as you are saying, look, this isn't my code. Okay, I did copy this. Um, then they're not gonna necessarily provide you marks for it, right? But it can help to make your pad better. Okay, so I'm gonna register here, and I implemented this two-factor authentication system. This code I used, so I'm gonna show you. I used a Delphi library for this from GitHub. OTP for Delphi, and if you've heard of OTP before, you know you scan this QR code on your phone, and then every 30 seconds it generates a code that you can then use to log into an app or something. Okay. You can also open this in your browser. So I added this just as an example. So you can see this is the 6-digit code. It comes from the secret. So you can see that secret matches that over there. And then in a couple seconds, there we go, it refreshes. Okay, so this is relatively simple to implement. I do recommend if you do want to implement something like this, you again go look at my code, look at how I did it. Um, but yeah, I'm going to log in now. So I've just created my admin account. Okay, and now it's going to ask me for this code. So 81547, but I'm going to type in something else. Okay, and you'll see it knows it's invalid. Okay, and that's just because of the way that secret keys work and the way it's been implemented. You have to enter that correct 6-digit PIN. Okay, so I'm going to copy this now, and there it works. Okay, so this is EnviroPOS, Enviro Point of Sale. This is the software, this is my GUI for it. So if we go to the menu, we can access the inventory, so we can add products here. We can manage our customers. You can either manage existing customers or you can add a customer. Okay. You can create a new order. So if you have customers, then you can select them here. You can start an order. You can select items, etc. Help documentation. Okay. You are required to include help documentation for the user. A simple way to do this, and it's something I've been using for 2 years, is I use Word. Okay. So I'll create a blank document in Word. I'll create property market documentation. Okay, so I'm creating my help documentation, whatever. Okay, so I'll save it on my PC somewhere. So I'll go here, I'll select it as an HTML document, and then I'll save it. And then you can actually import this HTML document into your project. So I have, if we look for help browser over here, this is just a web browser component. And then what I'm doing is I am navigating to that HTML document. Okay. And that is a simple, easy solution to your help document. You just create your help in Word and then you export it as an HTML document, and then it looks exactly like it would look in Word. So you can see I've included all the applicable things, all the help that the user might need, how to edit the product, etc. Right. So I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to show you the pre-populated version of my pad. So I do recommend that when you submit your IT pad, you include two database files. One that is empty, okay, and one that already has information in, already has uh, so users in, and in my case items and customers, etc. Right, so this is a pre-populated IT path over here that already has some things in, so I'm just going to log in here. Oops, just want to get the credentials. Okay, that's that. I typed that in wrong. I did. There we go, two factors. I'm just going to get this quickly. Wrong tab. Okay, There we go. We're logged in. So as you can see, it's pre-populated. So we have sales, we have some stock products. We can see the profit, the revenue, and the best-selling product. Okay, I'm going to show you the inventory. So these are the products we're selling. You can click on each product, and then it populates it to these edit boxes. Okay, the user can edit a product, they can remove a product, and something that's very cool is they can request stock. So the way I implemented this was I found a guide on the internet. Okay, so it's this guide over here, and this helped me with sending an email using Delphi. So I'll include, you can just write down the link here, and go to the website. But this gives you instructions on how to send an email using Delphi, and I want to prove to you that this actually works. So I have a temporary email address over here that I've used to create the suppliers account. Okay, and I'm going to request stock for the Hisense 56-inch TV. Okay, so it's going to take a second to send the email, and there we go. Restock request sent to supplier successfully. So if you look at the email address now, once it comes through in a second here, there we go. A manager has requested that you restock the following item. There we have the product name, the product code. It sent the current stock. So if we do look here, the current stock is 3. Okay. Please restock as soon as possible to avoid removal as a supplier. So this was very easy to actually implement, but it can be seen as an advanced feature, okay? Because this isn't something that you're necessarily taught in school, right? They don't teach you how to send an email using Delphi, but it can be seen as an exceptional feature. So yeah, that's an idea for you. Then I'm going to show you how we create an order. So if we click on new order, it's going to bring up a pop-up box. The cashier can select the customer, so, and then they can start an order. Then they can select an item. So for example, an iPad. We can see we have 7 in stock. The price per iPad is 899, 8999, sorry, and you can specify the quantities. So 2 or 3 iPads, and you can see the total price is scaling dependent on the quantity. So I'm going to add 1 iPad to the order. Okay, all of this order processing is done using a class. So class order and class order details, these handle whatever I'm doing here. So if I want to remove the item, it removes it over here by destroying it. So yeah, so I'm just gonna add it again, and then you can save the order. You can also export the order, which emails the order directly to the customer using the same emailing technique and code over here. So I'm just going to save the order. Okay, so yeah, that's ordering. Again, manage customers. You can go and you can see each order. You can filter it. Filtering is actually a very easy way to get marks, specifically for the database section over here. So if I just find it over here, yes. It's actually a very easy way to get these marks, right? So if I show you the code for filtering over here, so we were on customer management. So yeah, over here we have our 2 filters, date ascending and date descending. You can click on that and filter it applicably. On the inventory screen, I also have the ability to filter over here. So most expensive product, for example, is the Hisense TV. Cheapest product is your Beats earphones. You can click on it. Average price of products, there we go. So if I show you the code for that section, there's a lot more SQL queries that we're doing over here. But this gets your marks, right? So we can see that we are selecting all, for example, or at least 2 queries using calculations, right? So the most expensive, there we go, max product, the minimum product. Some of these involve 2 tables, so yeah, that's you can get your marks over there. Then what else do we have? Yes, your admin center. So the admin center, basically what I did here was this is just the credentials part of the database. So if I go to it, goodness. If I go to credentials, this is exactly what is being shown here, that as well as employees. So the admin can actually come here and they can edit the employee's email, for example, or their role. So maybe they got demoted from a cashier and they need to be removed from the system. The admin can come in and they can delete them from the system. So that's that. Again, help documentation, you can do this very easily in Word. Um, Works exactly like a Word document. It's actually really cool. You have your heading here and your pictures. You can scroll. So yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, that is my matric IT pad. Um, I don't think I showed how to add a customer. So you click here, manage customers. You can click add a customer. And I can add someone. I don't know, Amber Heard, because we have Johnny Depp here, right? So we add her, and then we can, when we create an order, we can now see over there, Amber Heard is there. It populates her details. We can see she has 0 orders so far, but we can make an order for her. So she wants some out of stock for Rams. If we add something that's out of stock, provides an error. Okay, it's very important that you have checks for things like this, right? You don't want to go into negative stock, for example. Um, so let's see, what do we have? We have an i7 laptop, so let's add that. We can add Beats earphones. Okay, and then we can save it. We can also clear all the fields. So there we go. Now we can go and look for Amber's order over there. There it is. Our i7 laptop and her earphones. So yeah, that is my pet. Um, I think that's one more thing to show you. Yes, delphibasics.co.uk. This is a very helpful resource when you're doing your pet. So for example, if I find a function, so let's look for something over here. Um, yes, reset. Okay, and I want to know what that function does or how to use it. So I can click, if I go to Delphi Basics, I can click on the R over here. Just zoom in a bit. I can click on the R over here, and then I can look for reset. There we go. And then it tells you exactly how you can use it, what it's used for. So for example, it's used for text files, and what it does is it opens a file for read. So there we go. It provides an example on how to use it. Yeah, the website itself doesn't actually have a search function, but it's very easy. So you just go to Google, you type in Delphi basics, and let's do string to int. And then over here, there's string to int. Shows you how you use it. It converts an integer string, a string, right, into an integer over there. Provides uses, it provides the output. So it's an extremely helpful resource when you're actually, you know, coding. Then we have Mr. Long. I'm sure many of you know Mr. Long, but he has some really good videos as well on some advanced things that you can implement. You can see he goes through the topic for the IT pad. If we go to his playlists over here, let me just find it quickly. IT pad phase 1 guidance. Okay.
Welcome to
So
another
he
video.
provides some guidance on phase 1 data structures, some ideas, IPO table, etc. And then he also has somewhere here, he also has, yeah, IT pad tips and tricks. So
If you are an IT,
oh goodness, he has some tips on login screens, playing a video in your pad, that's pretty cool. Creating icons, so yeah, all of these things. Also for icons, you can use canva.com. Pretty simple. You're gonna have to sign up, but then you can create your icon and you can export it as a PNG file, and then you can import it over here. So for example, this picture over here, this is a PNG file that I used. for my logo. So you'll see it on every part of my project, right? So over here it is. If you create an account, it's over here. So yeah, I think that is that then. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to get in contact with me, you can find my details on my GitHub page. So scope it's all. Over here you'll find my Twitter and my email address, which is joelcedras@gmail.com. All right, yeah. Thank you all very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck.